Say his name and he appears. We all believe in Joe Hendry, the most inspirational man in pro wrestling. Over the past few months, a man from TNA named Joe Hendry has skyrocketed to popularity with a bunch of memes all over social media. This comes from his theme song, which starts with,
"Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry."
He recently published this song on iTunes and it actually hit #1 on the charts in the UK. That's insane. Many people like me think that Joe Hendry would do amazing in NXT. Like, his character just fits perfectly with the vibe that NXT is. So I decided that today I'm gonna put Joe Hendry in WWE 2K24 Universe mode to see how he would perform if he made it to NXT. Real quick, before we get into the video, subscribe to my YouTube membership for $1 a month and you can see my videos up to 24 hours early. And for $5, I will make a video just like this on anyone you want me to put in WWE. I also recently made a Twitter account, so if that interests you, then make sure to go follow me on there. Okay, now on to the video. Currently, he is #3 ranking in the NXT North American Championship division, and 7th in the power rankings overall. So here we are on the NXT North American Championship page, and we can see that Wolfgang is the North American champion, and Joe Hendry is below Obafemi and Wes Lee on the power rankings. There's a total of 12 people in these power rankings. I have never seen this many people vying for a championship, I don't think. So yeah, we simulated all the way to week 1 of January, and we are going to go to Stand and Deliver, which is the show that they host at WrestleMania weekend every year. And alright, week 1, where is Joe Hendry? It looks like he is not on the card. So we simulate to January week 2, and this Sunday is going to be NXT New Year's Evil, and Joe Hendry gets his first ever match, the 8th match on the show. He is going one-on-one versus Axiom, and Joe Hendry gets the victory. He slayed the Power Ranger. Nah, I love Axiom, bro, but Joe Hendry, a huge win, very inspirational. And Ilya Dragunov becomes the new NXT champion, defeating Nathan Frazier. Yeah, Nathan Frazier was the NXT champion. Let's see, does Joe Hendry get booked on NXT New Year's Evil? It looks like Joe Hendry does not get booked, but there is a North American Championship match, so let's see who wins. Wolfgang retains. On to week 3 of January now. Let's see what Joe Hendry is going to be doing. Hopefully he can get into a rivalry soon. And it looks like once again he is not booked in a match. So we'll simulate to January week 4, and if he isn't in a match, we will spin a wheel to get him a rivalry. Okay, yep, it looks like Joe Hendry is not being booked. So let's put the entire North American Championship division onto a wheel and spin to see who Joe Hendry is going to have a rivalry with. Alright, so I have a change here from my usual wheels. I made it so that the Wolfgang section of the wheel, it is a lot smaller than every other section, so he has a lot less of a chance at actually facing the champion, because we've had instances in the past where it lands on the champion pretty easily. And so to make it fair, we want to have them get into rivalries with the champions organically most of the time, so it has to have a miracle for the wheel to give him a championship match. Let's see, who is Joe Hendry's first rival going to be? Ooh, this is a close one. Noam Dar. And what intensity will this rivalry start out as? Is going to be a high intensity rivalry. And alright, here we go. The rivalry is going to begin on this episode of NXT. And they put Joe Hendry on the cover. It looks like Joe Hendry doesn't have a match, but Noam Dar is going up against Obafemi in the main event, where Joe Hendry will likely have some sort of rivalry action. Let's simulate. Obafemi gets the win. Noam Dar was picking up momentum in his match before a distraction from Joe Hendry turned things around. The entrance music and lights led everyone in the arena to believe his rival was making an appearance. Instead, it gave Obafemi enough time to recover and strike Noam Dar from behind while his focus was on the stage. No way Noam Dar was about to defeat Obafemi. The Oba feminists would have not liked that happening. Good job on Joe Hendry for getting Oba the victory. And you know what, let's just see. Will Joe Hendry get booked on the Royal Rumble? So any Big 4 event, I know NXT superstars can participate, but they usually don't have regular matches. They can have appearances in the Royal Rumble though. And no, it does not look like Joe Hendry got booked. Okay, how broken is Royal Rumbles in this game? It literally has the superstar I downloaded for, remember the video I made where you can use any of the soundtrack songs as in a match? Why is the soundtrack getting booked in the Rumble? Alright, you know how this goes. We put Joe Hendry in the Royal Rumble, but because he wasn't originally in the match, he has to go in all the way at number 1. Will Joe Hendry be able to run the distance and win the Royal Rumble? Let's save and let's see. I believe in you, Joe. Kevin Owens wins the Royal Rumble. Yeah, I wasn't really expecting much there. Let's go ahead and go on to NXT February week 1. Joe Hendry on the cover again, and once again they are not booking Joe Hendry at all, but they're putting Noam Dar in the main event. Explain this to me. Why is like Dragunov having his match in the 6th match, but Noam Dar versus Andre Chase is the main event? Is Joe Hendry that popular? Dumb question. Of course he is. Let's see. Noam Dar got the win. Not content with letting his enemy's match go smoothly, Joe Hendry made his presence known to Noam Dar in an obvious mid-match distraction. The issues between these superstars are more likely to continue as they interfere with each other's matches. So Joe Hendry went down there, but Noam Dar was still able to get the victory over Andre Chase. Just give Joe Hendry a match, please. Wow, okay, Humberto Carrillo, you're on the cover. Nice. Bro, there is no way. They aren't booking him. I put him in a rivalry and they're never booking him. Is he even in a rivalry with Noam Dar anymore? It doesn't have the rivalry icon. I guess nobody does. Oh, wait. I skipped Vengeance Day. Oh, this calendar. It should tell me what happened though, right? Okay, Joe Hendry defeated Noam Dar in a one-on-one match at NXT Vengeance Day. My bad for skipping it. It's like shoved there in the very top right corner of the calendar. Well, okay, we'll give it another week to see if Joe Hendry gets booked. And Joe Hendry is in a match. He is in a triple threat match going up against Scripps and Noam Dar. Will Joe Hendry get the win? He does. Joe Hendry gets the win in a triple threat. Has he lost the match yet? I don't think so. All right, on to February week 4. All right, we are spinning the wheel again. Let's see, who is Joe Hendry going to be in a rivalry with? No way. No way it lands on Wolfgang. No way it lands on Wolfgang. Oh, that's so close. It doesn't land on the champion, but he is going to be in a feud with Joe Gacy. What a mysterious guy Joe Gacy is. And the intensity that this rivalry is going to be, alright, it's just going to be a casual, low-intensity rivalry to begin. Okay, which one of these do I delete? This one. This one's gonna be interesting. Oh, Joe Hendry's up to a 90 overall. Alright, and they put Joe Hendry into a match with his brand new rival, Joe Hendry versus Joe Gacy. And Joe Hendry gets the win. A strong showing of respect between Joe Hendry and Joe Gacy. Both superstars putting on a competitive match with an admirable display of sportsmanship. This could be the beginning of a camaraderie forged through competition inside the ring. I just realized this is the Battle of the Joes. We're on to March now, and I promise I will not skip NXT Roadblock this time. Not skipping the PLE at the beginning of the month. And Joe Hendry is not in a match, but he is going to probably have something to do with Joe Gacy's match. Joe Gacy gets the win. Joe Hendry made a chilling appearance after Joe Gacy's match. Using the cover of darkness to carry out a hostile attack, the monstrous assault serves as a warning that there's no place that's safe from Joe Hendry, and that his rival might not ever see his next attack coming. Wait, what? He used the Undertaker's darkness like action, like Joe Hendry can appear out of the dark? And then Joe Hendry attacked Joe Gacy from behind. Okay, let's see how this boils over at NXT Roadblock. Joe Hendry versus Joe Gacy one-on-one in a no-holds-barred match. Alright, let's see who comes out on top after this one. Joe Hendry gets the win over Joe Gacy. And that's the end of the rivalry. Joe Hendry comes out on top. We go on to NXT March week 2. Surely with 2 rivalry wins, Joe Hendry gets booked, right? Surely while being number 3 in the division and his rival that he just beat being 12 in the division, he gets booked and not his rival. Nope, quite the opposite. Joe Gacy gets a match, but Joe Hendry nowhere to be found. Let's go on to March week 3. Okay, they finally are booking my boy Joe Hendry again in a fatal 4-way match against Axiom, Wesley, and Damon Kemp. If Joe Hendry gets this win, this is surely going to get him some more bookings. No, the Power Ranger won. Yep, Joe Hendry is not going to be on Stand and Deliver. I can't be bothered to spin the wheel at this point, so it's up to the game if he's ever getting booked again. Nope, nothing for Joe Hendry. Simulate. We're on April week 1 now. Can we get like one more Joe Hendry match? Alright, Joe Hendry versus Axiom one-on-one. And Joe Hendry gets the win. He finally got revenge on that Power Ranger for winning the Fatal 4-Way. Now, will the most inspirational man in pro wrestling find his way at WrestleMania weekend NXT Stand and Deliver? Joe Hendry does get booked on Stand and Deliver. He is in a 6-superstar match against Noam Dar, Obafemi, Josh Briggs, Damon Kemp, and Dijak. I don't know what 6 superstar means. Maybe it's just a free-for-all to get the pin. But since this is technically the WrestleMania of NXT, let's watch this match. And out he comes, the most inspirational man in all of pro wrestling, Joe Hendry. This is an amazing creation. Whoever made this, shout out to you. Joe Hendry walking down to a WWE ring. And the match has begun. I'm going to have the camera on Joe Hendry the whole match. And Dijak with a sit-out powerbomb to Joe Hendry. Not a great start for Joe. And now Joe getting back to his feet. And Noam Dar. Do not know what he just did, but Joe Hendry's on the mat now. And Joe Hendry making it back to his feet now. And grappling up with Josh Briggs. Josh Briggs going for like a pedigree, but Joe Hendry reverses. And a clothesline sending Josh Briggs down to the mat. And now Joe Hendry with Obafemi suplex. And Josh Briggs grabbing Joe Hendry. And oh my god, to the back of Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry forced to roll to the outside. And now Joe Hendry looking under the ring for a weapon. And he grabs a solid steel chair. And he's running over to Dijak. And he just throws it straight at Dijak at the back of the head. And now Joe Hendry grappling with Dijak, but Dijak reverses and taking him to the mat. Dijak got Joe Hendry locked in the Boston Crab. But Joe Hendry able to fight free. Back in the ring now. And Obafemi with some strikes. And over the knee. And now Obafemi going for the pin. 1. Joe Hendry with a kick out at 1. Joe Hendry to his feet now. And Damon Kemp with a running neck breaker. And Joe Hendry with an instant kip up. And now with Josh Briggs and a knee. And now Joe Hendry grappling Obafemi and dragging him. And bouncing his face off the turnbuckle, busting him open. Now Obafemi is bleeding. And Joe Hendry with a DDT to Noam Dar, just taking out everyone he can. But Josh Briggs with a choke slam over the knee, breaking Joe Hendry's back potentially. Joe Hendry now with his sights set on Dijak, and a bunch of repeated strikes, and a punch sending Dijak down to the mat. And now Damon Kemp with the shoulder tackle, spinning him out. And now what is Damon Kemp going for here? He is going for an electric chair. And into a German suplex. An insane feat of power from Damon Kemp into the pin. And Joe Hendry kicks out right before the 3. That was way too close for comfort. On the outside now. And Joe Hendry picking up a kendo stick and running over to the other side of the ring. And Josh Briggs catches him with the big boot. And Joe Hendry making it back to his feet. Obafemi's there. Josh Briggs is there. And Joe Hendry going after Obafemi. And Josh Briggs breaking it up with a huge slam, sending Joe Hendry right onto that solid steel outside flooring. And now everyone brawling on the outside. Obafemi sending Joe Hendry to the floor. And it looks like Joe Hendry is bleeding right now. Joe Hendry back to his feet. And Joe Hendry, oh my god, Noam Dar just slamming Joe Hendry's arm straight into the floor. And a DDT from Noam Dar. Joe Hendry back to his feet now. And Noam Dar catches him with the kendo stick. Joe Hendry on the floor. Will he be able to get up? Joe Hendry hasn't been moving for a while, but he is now on a knee and a pin inside the ring. And the match is over. Dijak gets the win. Joe Hendry loses, unfortunately. Joe Hendry did make it to WrestleMania weekend, though, and he had an alright showing. Dijak, though, came out on top, but I'm sure people will remember this match and remember his name, the most inspirational man in pro wrestling, Joe Hendry. And a 3.5 star rating, meaning Joe Hendry had a great match. So yeah, not the result we were looking for with Joe Hendry, but he put on a good match. And that's all you can really ask for when you're just starting out. He's only been here for like 3 months. While he failed to capture the North American Championship, I'd say Joe Hendry had a pretty successful first few months in the WWE. He won 2 rivalries and made his way to WrestleMania weekend. Hopefully one day we can see Joe Hendry in WWE, but he's still killing it on TNA, and I wish him the best for the rest of his career. So that is it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to click the like button and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I wish I could have it my way. I don't really know who's to blame, but you said you were giving me space, then forever went away. Hey, at night in the garden I roam. Since the day you left, no flowers grow. My skin's gone purple from the cold.